Oh, trouble back straight away, guys.
Trevor Bayne.
A number of cars
and
involved.
more. Logano is in it.
Crashing all. Oh, man.
Happen.
Look at that. Gosh, the 6 just started to turn all by itself. I mean, it's.
But Darrell, do you think the 27 car being out there on the outside, it just pulled the back end of Trevor Bayne's 6 car around?
It had to, Larry, because the car was not in any. There was nobody around him except that 27 closing fast. See right here, he gets a big run coming. You got to. I think that's Tony Stewart down below him. He's got cars on both sides of him.
And then Kurt Busch got into Bayne, and into the wall he went.
It just doesn't feel like it's into the racetrack. Oh, and Jimmy Johnson goes around.
And this time he's hard in the wall.
Not so lucky.
Thought he had it saved there, Darrell.
Caught the end of the pit wall.
Get her going as he can, bud.
He'll come in from the right side. There he is.
I mean, it looks exactly what happened to him earlier in the race. Same thing right here. But you can see he had the wheels cut just a little bit and caught the end of the wall.
Going to turn 1. This is catastrophic, and it's exactly at the wrong place. Look at that motor blow up going down in the corner, and he is just hanging on at this point.
Oh, absolutely. It's oiling down the back tires, and you're holding on, trying to do whatever you can. Now, look at the inside of that car. You can't see anything. Now you're listening to the spotter, and then unfortunately it got into the wall. So that was just definitely a disappointing end to a day. I mean, it's one thing to blow an engine. That costs a lot of money on these teams, and then you go and it backs into the wall. It's just really unfortunate for those guys.
As a matter of fact, it's funny you mentioned that. Isn't this where that Joey said something about who wore the fire suit in the family? This is it.
Oh, Newman and Allmendinger get together.
Oh,
hard
no.
in the wall goes Newman.
Man. Guys.
And both these drivers were having great runs, especially Ryan Newman.
They were battling for 7th. Diving to the bottom, and Danica Patrick goes for a ride into the turn 1 wall.
Yeah, we saw smoke coming from her car.
It's almost like she maybe cut a tire down.
Caution at lap 135. The right rear is flat. Had a little bit of room.
Yeah, a
there.
little bit. It got a little contact there. I don't think it hurt anything. And we saw this 10 car going down in front here with smoke, a little bit of smoke trailing, and the car goes around. And Larry, I think you're right. I think it's probably maybe contact with someone, cut a right rear tire down.
Sam Hornish in the wall with 100 miles to go. Caution is out at lap 121.
He's got a right front suspension broken. It looked like the left front tire was down when I first saw the car.
There's a look at it down at turn 1, the fastest part of the racetrack.
See the smoke started to come out of the left front, and then the car just went straight into the wall.
It's a very hard hit.
Yes.
Oh, Ricky Stenhouse.
Trouble on the right front, looked like.
Second caution of the day. Lap 69.
You'll see here he's going to cut to the bottom right here. Really, I don't. Casey Mears didn't really do anything wrong. He's right in the groove. I just think Ricky was going to try to maybe do a crossover move on there or something. It just didn't work.
When that rubber starts going around.
Oh man, that's a crash.
There goes Brian Scott hard into the wall. Third caution of the day.
Get in under the 22. I've seen it. Gonna be on the hook.
Wow.
And you can see Blaney on the bottom. Gets a little bit loose on the exit. It gives Brian Scott the inside.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't really know what happened there, but they made contact before they got to the corner. It's like the 22 came down a little bit and got into the side of the 2, but that started for the 22 in turn 4 when he touched the apron. And when he touched the apron right there.
Crafton sits right there, and we've got 2 together. Jesse Little in the 97 involved, and we got more contact. Deeper in the field, Townley involved. The 63 is in there with Justin Jennings. Mason Mingus was involved as well.
See Jesse's on the inside. Looks like did he push up a little bit and got into Mason Mingus and then squeezes him into the outside wall?
I think a little bit of both, Phil. I think he pushed up into him. When he got up into him, he lost all that side force.
Looked like Mason Mingus was on the outside. Jesse Little looked like Todd. He may have pushed up a little bit, had to chase his truck up the hill just a little bit.
Oh, Menard sideways.
And he's going to kiss the wall.
Hang on.
They scatter to miss him, and somehow everyone does, but they're wrecking here. That's Conley in the black 14, sideways through the grass, and also the 16 of Ryan Reed. 8th caution of the day, and it takes out one of the drivers that had a chance at victory. Paul Menard and Jeremy Clements in the 51 got damage as well. That team has been on a roll lately.
Looked like he got the worst end of it all. Menard just gets loose, it looks like. When Elliott Sadler went up, it took the air off Menard's car, and around he went.
Paul might not have been expecting Elliott to come up so much in the corner, and it just was enough to push him up.
And that Jeremy Clements car, he had bounced off the inside wall and then into Menard. Oh, got a crash.
David Starr involved, hard hit into the wall. The 55 of Jeffrey Earnhardt, our 7th yellow of the day.
All right, that's a shame for Jeffrey Earnhardt. Hard crash for he and David Starr. Did it look like maybe Bubba made contact with Brendan and got him loose and then just tried to squirt by?
Well, it looked like Brendan came up in front of him.
And then I think Bubba just tried to gas it up and get by.
Just gets out wide here, and once you get off the track, you're done. And wow, what an incredible, I mean, that's a sudden stop. And look how he knocked all those tires loose. That's huge.
And we've talked about turn 11 being the slowest corner at 30 miles per hour. That's one of the fastest parts of the racetrack.
Yeah, I got to think something happened to that car.
David Gilliland told his crew that coming into turn 10, the left front tire let go.
Oh, trouble. John Hunter Nemechek. Debris across the racetrack. Looked like Johnny Sauter may have picked some up. Caleb Holman, I think, might have got a piece of that as well.
Sorry about that, Jay.
There it is. You see John Hunter didn't quite have the 75 truck cleared. Moved up the racetrack, tried to move up against the outside wall. Caleb Holman was there. They made contact, and a lot of damage to that 8 truck of John Hunter, and some pretty good amount of damage to that 75 of Caleb Holman.
Martin Truex Jr. in the tire barrier.
Buried in there.
He has drilled the tire packs.
Yeah, he's
Side 2 into the tire barriers, Cole.
Reagan off the course, kind of in the dirt, and hooks him.
Yeah. You know, there's in other sports there's unavoidable contact and there's avoidable contact. These drivers, a lot of them lose their mind at the end of the year.
Like right Reagan there. And Edwards, there they go into the wall hard. You were saying?
Yes. I said there will be another caution. Some of them will lose their mind, and in the process, they're probably going to lose their car.
But these cautions right here, that's what Johnson and those guys need. They'll be able to save plenty of fuel.
They were banking on this, Larry. I mean, they're smart. Like, look, you study trends, they study trends. Oh my gosh!
Pull it over.
That's look like maybe busted oil cooler. Got some oil coming out on the headers. Uh-oh.
Casey Mears has lost a wheel and axle broke.
Wow.
A rear axle broke. You see it's still attached at the hub.
Got to be a caution.
Is out.
Left on rear tire.
There she goes. Wow. Haven't seen that in a long time.
Elliott Sadler trying to keep the momentum up.
Brian Scott's in his mirror just looking.
And now up against the wall. He gets into the wall. Brian Scott trying to block into the wall, and he goes. The caution comes out again. Brian Scott doing what you said, trying to slow the momentum down, did it too late. There's the damage to the 2.
On the bottom, Elliott Sadler on the outside. Elliott's getting a big push. Brian tries to go in front and block, and Elliott's already there. He did what he needed to do. He just did it too late. The move was made too late to try to put the block on. Once they get that far up, you just got to hold your spot and take your punishment.
10 laps of racing to go. And around goes the pack in the middle. Darrell Wallace Jr. gets caught up. The big one happens just as they go through the tri-oval. Back up into the wall hard, Brendan Poole. Eric Almirola caught up in this in the 98. The caution comes out.
Point it here, guys.
Let's take another look at how it happened.
Brendan Gaughan in the middle there. Ryan Reed gets hit by the 3 car, pushes him into Brendan Gaughan, and then it's on from there.
Daniel Suarez caught up in this as well. Regan Smith.
Look at the job right there. Casey Kane in the 88 gets on the brakes. The crash happens, gets off the brakes, back on the gas to drive out of it.
Oop. Oh, we got a crash.
Crash. Big. Well, yeah, it's starting to get big.
Oh, it's big now.
It got big.
Another big one in turns 1 and 2 at Daytona. You look at Brian Scott in the 33. Fire underneath that car. He'll have to come to a stop. The 42 of Kyle Larson completely sideways.
He gets down to the apron. You see the sparks where the track bar mount hits the ground. He saves it, but he comes up the track, has no choice but to connect with the 19, who then starts to spin. Brad Keselowski gets a face full of sparks. The 17 does go around, and now the track is blocked. Now these guys are trying to find a hole through, and the 2 gets woed up, and the 3 kind of gets woed up, but then you see Carl Evans goes back up the track, and here comes Brian Scott with a full head of steam, makes big contact with the back of the 19.
You can follow Miss Sprint Cup as the big one's happening once again, coming out of turn number 4. Into the wall, Kyle Larson. Multiple cars sideways. Martin Truex Jr., a lot of damage to the front end of his car. Eric Almirola also involved.
We've seen this time and time again. The 20 tries to come down on the 5. I don't know if he actually makes contact with the 5 or just the air gets him loose. Man, and then it's just a mess, right? When you have trouble in front of that many cars, there's just nowhere to go. You see the 9 spinning, trying to avoid it. Once the smoke is that thick, there's just nowhere to go.
Junior will win at Daytona! And the big one happens behind them.
Oh my God.
Of Austin Dillon into the catch fence. All the crews getting out to that car to assist these drivers. Thumbs going up from all the crew members, and the crowd roars. Look at the catch fence on the front straight. Members pulling. Austin Dillon out. He's walking. The damage to the 4 of Kevin Harvick. What an incredible sight to see Austin Dillon walking away from that 3 car that is demolished.
Yeah, the 11 gets kind of stuck in the middle there and comes across the 4's bumper. As he does, he spins back in, gets the 3 airborne, and he just gets projected off the other cars right up into the fence.
He went from the bottom of the racetrack over 2 rows of cars and into that catch fence.
Here we go. You can see him on the bottom. Rex starts in front. He runs in the back of the 24. Gets up on the 11. Now he's on top of the 50.5. And now it's just along for the ride. Watch the car stop. Watch the car stop. It gets into those poles, and it goes from, I don't know what, 180, 190 miles an hour, I'm just guessing, to a complete stop. That is unbelievable.
And it looks like that's 3,500 pounds. That stock car is extremely heavy. You see here, after he's upside down, the 2 is spinning. Obviously, he's already lost control, makes more contact with the 3.
Problems. Huge hit for Kennedy. The 11 up on the safer barrier. Down off the wall it comes to a grinding halt in the middle of the racetrack.
I'm okay. A hard hit.
So he's racing on the inside of David Gillen. They make a little bit of contact. You see John West Townley was on the outside. He's going to run right into the side of him and kind of lift that truck up a little bit. Got into the catch fence. For the 2nd week in a row, we've had a vehicle in the catch fence. But again, the catch fence did its job. It kept that truck down on the racetrack, and you see it riding along the top of the safer barrier.
When they got to turn 1, Phil, I think they were 3 wide, and Ben probably thought that's a difficult angle for the spotters to see as well. And I think that Ben probably thought, wow, look how close that truck comes to going over. Probably thought they were just 2 wide, and he had room to move up a little bit for the corner.
That's what it looked like.
Debris on the racetrack, and the flames rolling out from the right side of the 7 of Alex Bowman.
You know, we've seen this before at the short tracks. The 7 had an issue with the right front tire. It looked like he melted the bead, came down pit road, got a new tire on it, but didn't clear all the old rubber, I'm assuming, off. Well, no, I disagree.
Yeah, we're going to disagree. It is not out, and the driver's climbing out of the car. That's Alex Bowman jumping out of there.
I think he was telling him to get out.
Oh, we got one moving into the, we saw this on pit road early. Casey Kane hits the inside wall and knocks it down. Saw some guys' helmets that were sitting up there. So a problem with Casey Kane's car. Goes onto pit road and the caution's out. And as you mentioned, 2 days in a row now we have seen something similar to this. As I mentioned, some of the things that the 2 of Brad Keselowski now onto pit road.
You see the number of laps.
Right front wheel is.
Yeah, and you see the number of laps that Brad Keselowski ran. You're starting to see their hand there, Kelly, on how long they can run.
Well, and it sounded like Brad maybe didn't. Oh, and you see he's just hit a crew member, so this is a disastrous stop for Brad Keselowski, who withdrew his pit stall.